Welcome to the 6 Traits of Executive You. I'm Blair Cook.
And I'm Jen Nicholson. We're both many times CFOs and partners at Executive Finance.
Do you want to know the secret of what it takes to become and succeed as a financial executive?
We'll tell you what those secrets are in a moment.
Does your career sometimes feel like a long, random walk?
Do you feel frustrated by the lack of promotions when everyone around you seems to be getting promoted?
Now, for many of us, the early years of our careers were focused on getting graduate level studies behind us, maybe getting a professional financial designation.
Not to mention some work experience. Really, any work experience.
Yeah, definitely. And with formal education behind us, we moved into the ranks of middle management where we honed one or more technical areas toward mastery.
Controllers master accounting.
And financial analysts master financial planning and analysis.
Treasury people master banking and financing.
You get the idea. But somewhere after spending a decade in the workforce, some of us are going to aspire to play an even greater role, but perhaps lack the understanding of what it takes to get to that next level.
The problem is, there is really no roadmap that guides you through this journey. Some of us arrive at the corner office faster than others, and some never arrive at all.
Why is that?
It's typically not your technical competency, but is usually related to the softer, more polished qualities that you're missing.
What is holding you back are some of those things you may not even actually be aware of because they're kind of said behind closed doors and not shared with you. Things such as,
he's brilliant, but not well liked. Just doesn't connect with people.
or perhaps maybe something like always looks a little nervous or maybe stiff in conversation and in presentations.
Or comes on way too strong and really needs to dial back the intensity.
Or perhaps maybe it's they don't dress well or the clothes don't fit well.
I don't have that problem.
No, you don't.
Or perhaps they're easily distracted and go down into the weeds with far too much information.
Very common challenge for many financial professionals. And perhaps it's even this one. They lack the confidence and come across as tentative and meek.
The 6 traits of executive presence are the difference between a financial professional and a financial executive. For a financial executive,
It's accepted and expected that you have mastered your technical competencies.
it's also assumed that your enabling competencies are well honed.
What will ultimately differentiate you is how you demonstrate each one of the 6 traits of executive presence.
In this course, we tackle personal branding.
In this course, we're going to work on how you develop a compelling personal brand.
You want to represent the best parts of you and your skills.
So we'll also look at how you set a career goal and a plan of action toward that goal.
Communicating it and reinforcing it through all that you do on a daily basis with laser focus.
If you've listened to us this far, we believe you're one of those self-motivated financial professionals looking to accelerate your path to the corner office.
Join us now to learn more about ways to cultivate your personal brand. Welcome to our course on personal branding. What is your personal brand? The reality is we all have a brand. It may not be the brand you have in mind for yourself, but by being proactive, you have a say in how you are perceived by others. In this course, you will discover your personal brand and how to leverage it to improve your executive presence. Personal branding is the 6th trait of executive presence, along with your confidence, your ability to build relationships, communication skills, resilience, and credible leadership. Of all the 6 traits, this is the one that says you are really serious about becoming an executive. From this point forward, we want to think of yourself in terms of My Executive Presence, Inc. Think of yourself as CEO of this company. Begin raising your own self-awareness of everything that is going on inside and outside of your personal company to help manage the perception of you. Few financial professionals have consciously cultivated their personal brand. Left untended, those around you will form their own opinions of your personal brand, which may or may not be a fair representation of what you'd like to put yourself out there as. Your brand is essentially whatever you do consistently over time. If you deliver high quality work, then that's a great personal attribute to build your brand around. However, if you dress poorly or show up late or mumble through presentations, in the absence of proactively developing your brand, your weaknesses can unintentionally become your personal brand and limit your career progression. Let me give you a preview of this course. In the first lesson, we are going to define your brand. We will align this with your career objectives. In the second lesson, how you dress is really important, and we will give you some tips and some advice that I've used throughout my career. In the third lesson, we look at ways for you to stand out. Sure, you're good at Gap, but that's not necessarily going to build executive presence. Let's discuss how you can differentiate yourself from your peers and land that executive position. And finally, in the fourth lesson, we need to communicate our brand. We do this through social media, we do this through our resume. It's not enough for us to expect people to find us and know that we are great financial executives. We need to tell them. So let's get going. We have a lot to discuss, and you have a lot of work ahead of you. In this lesson, you will learn what you need to think about as you formulate My Executive Presence Incorporated. Your brand is composed of your appearance, your competencies and special skills, your behaviors and work ethic, and your value differentiators. We often emphasize one or more of these, but rarely cultivate all four at the same time. Your brand also needs to distinguish you from your peers. Others too aspire to achieve higher levels of senior management in their careers, so leaving your brand a chance is a risky approach. In developing your personal brand, consider this 5-step approach. 1, be really clear about your career goals. 2, build self-awareness of your current brand to help assess what needs to be changed for you to achieve your goals. Thirdly, develop and plan your personal branding strategy. Next, you have to communicate your brand. And 5, demonstrate consistent behavior to continuously reinforce your personal brand. In your workbooks, we are going to do a little exercise now that will help you with the first step. That is clarifying your brand goal. You can write down your response in exercise 12. If you could wave a magic wand, how do you want people to see you? How do you want them to respond to you when you walk into a room or present to them? This is a desired outcome having performed this exercise. There are 4 parts for you to complete. 1, write down 3 to 5 people you really admire and list what it is about each person that you admire. Secondly, identify the traits that you'd like to emulate by putting a star beside them. Next, put a rectangle around those that you feel are natural and authentic to you right now. So those skills that you already have and are doing a great job of. And finally, circle those skills that are less natural, but you feel confident that you could develop with some effort. Pause the video and complete this exercise in your workbook now, and hit play to continue when you've finished. Did you do the exercise? As Zig Ziglar said, if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time. So the purpose of this exercise is to give you a list of the traits you already exemplify, which could form part of your personal brand. But also, you now begin formulating a development plan for additional traits you want to acquire or emulate. Most importantly, you should now have a vision of what Executive Presence U Incorporated looks like and stands for. In our next lesson, I'm going to help you tackle your appearance. While you might think you are evaluated based on your work products, the reality is there is so much more that goes on into the evaluation of you. None of us like to believe that our appearance factors into this assessment, but sadly it does. So if you are one of those people, like Blair, who spent years not thinking so much about how you dress, listen up. I'm about to get you back on the path to right. The key to building your personal brand with your appearance is consistently dressing sharply. The old adage is never more true today. Dress for the job you want, not the job you have. Zoller and Preston articulated this well when they said, if you take time to look good and appropriate, the message you are sending is that you care about yourself. When you care about yourself, people feel that you will care about them and you will care about the projects that you're working on with them. Remember that perceptions form our initial impressions. People make the assumption that someone who is dressed sharply on the outside is more competent and professional. Here's another interesting thing to keep in mind. The right clothes also help you feel more professional, confident, and excited. You know how it is when you get up in the morning and you put on a suit or a dress and you feel great heading out the door. So think about that brand goal that we set in the last lesson and wear clothes that are consistent with that desired image of yourself. If you're like Blair, didn't even know what that was, seek out someone like me who can help you with that. I helped him with that. There are a few dressing do's and don'ts to keep in mind. Do, dress modest but not dated. Power dress to look your best when it's appropriate, and make sure that you dress for your audience. If you're going into an office where everyone is dressed very casually, you don't want to come in wearing a suit, but you do want to look put together and clean and neat. Find your style. Everyone has a different style. Some people are more flamboyant and others are more conservative. You need to be comfortable, so whatever works for you is what you need to stick with. Make sure your clothes fit well. Anything that's big and sloppy or too tight is not going to help your image at all. Women should wear some makeup. It doesn't have to be a full face, but it does help you look a little bit more put together and professional. Your clothes should always be clean, which goes without saying, and make sure that you don't carry any foul smells like smoke on you. Wear solid colors to avoid being cut in two. Make sure you dress well, but also comfortably. There's nothing worse than wearing something that's uncomfortable because it makes you distracted and not focused on the people that you're working with and trying to build better relationships with. On the other hand, here are a few dressing don'ts. Don't dress sloppy or frumpy. Don't disrespect the written or unwritten dress code. And many organizations certainly will have some written rules, but you should look at the people around you and emulate how those people that you aspire to be, look at how they dress and use them as a guide. Don't wear dirty or wrinkled clothes. Might be time to invest in an iron. Don't wear shoes that look like slippers or that need to be polished. Make sure that you are always clean and neat from head to toe. Research has shown that attractive people tend to earn more money. This is called the beautiful people bias. However, when you dig into the findings, you will see that the study isn't as prejudicial as it might appear on first glance. The increase in earnings was attributed to confidence that looking attractive tends to promote. 20% was attributed to that. 30% was based on the assumption that because you are well dressed, you must be more competent. And 50% was based on the improvement in communication skills and social intelligence that enables better interaction with others. With dressing for success dealt with, in our next lesson, you are going to learn how to differentiate yourself amongst your peers.